Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Wednesday, February 22, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comment section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. Syracuse vs Clemson. Clemson has a 13-1 record at home this season, and they have the potential to dominate the game as they did against Florida State. Their loss against Louisville was crippling to their March Madness hopes, but I believe that will be a wake-up call for the squad, and they will put a greater emphasis on taking no games off. With the return of Brevin Galloway, the Tigers now have 4 key pieces that can contribute double digits easily. The Tigers also shoot better from the free throw line, a factor that may prove significant with the spread as small as it is. While these teams have astonishingly similar offensive stats, Clemson has the edge on the defensive front, and they are almost desperate for a win. Take Clemson minus 3.5 points. With a matchup as intense as this, the offenses tend to shine more often than not. Both teams do incredibly well from the 3-point line and the free throw line. Both squads shoot 46.5% from the floor with a variety of potential scoring options, giving defenses a much tougher time. They additionally take care of the ball well and are around average in their tempo. I could see this game going back and forth, with each team trying to see who will blink first. The defenses of both teams have given up a combined 138.7 points per game on average, and these offenses can put more points on the opposing defense than just the average. Clemson has reached 70-plus points in their last 4 games, including 94 points against FSU. Aside from their most recent contest against Duke, the Orange have scored at least 75 points in their last 3 games. Take the over 143 points. Minnesota vs Maryland. Maryland has the talent to win this game by 40, but the only question is how motivated will they be to do so. Maryland showed their strength by beating Purdue by 14 at home. After that game they got too comfortable and lost a game they should have won to Nebraska. The Nebraska loss will help refocus this Maryland squad. Maryland beat Purdue by 14 at home and beat this Minnesota team by 35 on the road. There is no reason to be scared of this 16-point spread. Minnesota's strength is their post players in Battle and Garcia, but they are about to be outclassed by this trio of forwards on Maryland. Maryland's bigs were able to beat Purdue's Zach Edey, so they dominate against Minnesota's front line. Maryland is the pick here. Take Maryland minus 16 points and to win big at home. Minnesota only scored 46 points the last time these teams met. They do not have the firepower to put up big numbers from the perimeter, and their bigs will struggle to score on the inside against Maryland's front line. Neither team plays fast, as Minnesota's tempo is ranked 299th in the country and Maryland's is ranked 290th. Maryland has hit the under in 4 of their last 6 games. This will be a very one-sided game, and Maryland will coast in the second half with a big lead. Minnesota's 248th ranked defense will not score easily against Maryland's 24th ranked defense. The first matchup between these two teams went under, and this one will too. Take the under 128.5 points. Vanderbilt vs LSU. Vanderbilt has won 4 straight against the spread and is 5-1 in their last 6 games ATS on the road. LSU is 1-3 in their last 4 games against the spread. With LSU's struggles not going away, look for these trends to continue. Take Vanderbilt minus 1 point. LSU has gone under the point total in 4 of their last 5 games and has scored 63 points or under in 3 of the last 4 games. Vanderbilt has gone under the point total in 5 of their previous 8 games. LSU and Vanderbilt currently rank 273rd and 217th in pace of play respectively. Most signs point to a lower scoring affair. Look for this game to go under. St. Bonaventure vs Davidson. Since these teams have not played each other this season, we do not have a barometer for how this might play out, so let's take a look at a recent common opponent in Fordham. The Bonnies lost to the Rams, 78-63, and shot 44.4% overall. The Wildcats faced the Rams 2 Saturdays ago and also lost, but by just a bucket, 73-71, shooting 47.5%. Fordham is 4th in the A10 in defending the shot, holding opponents to 42.3% shooting on the year. That paints us a picture of what Davidson might be capable of, even when up against a good defense. The Wildcats have a big, seasoned group who don't want to go out with a whimper after last season's success. The Bonnies put up a whopping 76 shots in their last game, so their arms may still be tired a bit. Davidson has also been shooting the ball very well over the past couple of weeks and is 5-2 ATS in the last 7 meetings with the Bonnies. Take the Wildcats -5 points. Between these schools, there have been 29 games that have gone under this season. Both teams rank in the bottom half of Ken Palm's tempo ratings, with St. Bonaventure checking in at 268 and Davidson at 276. The Wildcats have struggled to score against top defenses in the A10, putting up just 61 against Dayton and 59 against VCU, the only 2 teams ahead of St. Bonaventure in defensive scoring. The Bonnies in general are a low-scoring team, putting up tallies of 63, 54, and 70 over their last 4 games, with an 81 in there due to overtime. In their last 10 games, Davidson has scored less than 70 points on 6 occasions. In the Bonnies' last 10 games, they've hit under 78 times. The under is 3-2 in the last 5 meetings between these two. Take the under 133 points. George Washington vs. Rhode Island. Rhode Island has had their rough go of it this season, but they're at home where they've played their best basketball, while the Colonials 3-6 on the road this season. The Rams have struggled from distance, but George Washington sits 15th in the Atlantic 10 defending the perimeter, and I expect the Rams to get some clean looks from deep here. George Mason has been overly reliant on their mid-range shooting, which is not a long-term path to efficiency or success. Lastly, the Rams like to pound the ball inside and lead the conference in free throw rate and should get ample tries at the line. Take the home favorite here. Our team pick is Rhode Island -2.5 points. Neither of these squads have any trouble pushing the ball as they are each right around 100th in pace. We've seen the George Washington offense has the ability to put up points, scoring over 80 in 2 of their last 4. The Colonials' defense has been a different story. George Washington has had trouble forcing turnovers or getting stops. Rhode Island should have ample opportunity to get right again offensively against this porous defense that is George Washington. Take the over here. Our total pick is over 143.5 points. Kentucky vs. Florida. Florida enters this game without their best player Colin Castleton. His absence was evident against Arkansas, and I expect Kentucky to also take advantage here, particularly on the glass. Kentucky sits atop the SEC in both offensive rebound rate and opponent offensive rebound rate. We should expect to see Kentucky with multiple second chance scoring tries here and limit those chances to Florida. Kentucky also ranks 13th in field goal attempt rate compared to the Florida defense, which ranks 313th. The Wildcats have held opponents to 6 3-pointers or fewer in 8 straight games and will simply make points hard to come by for Florida at home. Take Kentucky here. The Gators like to push the tempo and currently sit top 100 in terms of pace of play. Not only should we see a determined pace here, but the Gators have taken great care of the ball in conference play, and we've already highlighted the top 15 field goal attempt rate of the Wildcats. We haven't seen either of these defenses force a high rate of steals, which will allow for high shot volume. Kentucky has struggled down low defensively, and that has been an area of attack for the Gators. Florida, meanwhile, has lapsed on the glass defensively, and the Wildcats have executed offensive rebounds at a very high rate here. Expect to see points in a 1-75 win style of game here. The play is over 140 points. Duquesne vs. La Salle. Both of these teams have been very solid ATS this season, and La Salle has been a can't-miss pick of late, which makes this all the tougher to choose. Both teams do have a common opponent in St. Bonaventure, whom both schools faced within their last 4 games. The Explorers won a 56-54 tilt against the Bonnies at home, while the Dukes beat them 76-70 on the road. Advantage, Duquesne. They both also played UMass near the turn of the month, with La Salle losing on the road by 8 and Duquesne winning at home by 14. So, clearly, it seems we have a pattern here, and the Dukes are on the right end of it. Both teams' shooting and scoring have been up over their last 5 games, but Duquesne has been much more consistent and has averaged 28.2 field goals made per game in that span. The Dukes also hold an advantage in rebounds and turnovers, which should put them over the top. Duquesne is 3-2 ATS in the last 5 played at La Salle. Take the Dukes, 2 points. Combined over their last 5 games, these two schools have averaged 150.9 points per game. These teams lean more on the higher tempo side of play, with Duquesne checking in at 138th in the Ken Palm tempo rankings and LaSalle at 157th. The Dukes have scored 72 or more points in 7 of their last 10 games, with 2 90-plus point efforts in regulation. The Explorers have put up 70 or more 6 times in their last 9 games, including 3 over 75 points. Neither defense is particularly scary, and both teams seem content to go along with what their opponents are doing. Between the teams, there have been 26 over this season, and the over is 8-1 in the last 9 meetings. Take the over 143.5 points.